Welcome to episode 46 of 100 Songs. Today we are talking about the band Combine and the song Ephidrine off of Norfolk, Virginia, which was their album from 1995. This band is largely unknown. I think it's safe to say they were around pretty much of the 90s, from 91 to about 97, and then they pretty much went away after that. And then recently their albums were made re-available again after having been gone for a while. They had their short run, and then when they sort of went away, you couldn't even find their CDs anymore. They were just like gone. Now, fortunately, I had managed, when I was a fan, I was buying their couple albums that they had available at the stores. I bought their CDs, their first one right around the time that they were kind of getting out there, and then when their second one came out, I bought it right away, and then they just disappeared and you couldn't even find their records. Now they have recently re-released them on Bandcamp, which is really cool. They call it the 25th anniversary edition, and I don't know if they're remixed or if they're just being made available again for the first time. But very cool that they're making those available. I'm looking at the website right now. I was happy to see that. And anyway, I was trying to look up information about them to make this video, and there isn't a lot. There's not a lot out there about these guys. And I remember being really bummed when they sort of disappeared, because I thought everything they had done. They basically have 3 albums that were available. There's an Unfriendlier demo, which they also remade available, that I didn't even have as part of this Bandcamp thing. Part of that, there's like 6 songs on there. 3 of them ended up in their future couple of releases, and then 3 of them were not. So there's some original stuff you can't get anywhere else, and it also sounds really good. So you have the Unfriendlier demo, and then the 2 main albums they have is Norfolk, Virginia, which were I'm showing here, and then the follow-up to that, the History of American Rock and Roll, which is also really good. A little bit different, but very still sounds like them. You could sort of intermix the songs and it would work on a playlist. But the History of American Rock and Roll had was kind of themed, I think. So I discovered this band watching MTV, which for a largely unknown band, it's like, what were they doing on MTV? Well, back in the day, MTV would play stuff like this, kind of newer bands, and it was actually a decent way to find good music. So that's what happened. It was Cattle My Rage video. I saw that. I was like, this is great. And so I went and found the album, bought it. Pretty much fell in love with it. Listened to it a lot, listened to shit out of it. And the follow on, same thing. I was really bummed that I wasn't able to ever see them live. They were on my list of bands I regret never having an opportunity to see, although I don't know that there was an opportunity. I certainly was looking, and they just never came around. So never got to see them. Won't get to see them ever, because even though they have done a couple songs here and there as part of this re-release of some of their music, they're not going to tour or anything like that. So missed opportunity, but it is what it is. The song Ephedrine, which we'll play a little bit of here, is a little bit confusing because it's spelled incorrectly for what we know ephedrine to be, which is a drug used to treat hypotension rather. I'm sure you've heard of an EpiPen, epinephrine. It's kind of a form of adrenaline. And it's spelled Ephidrine. But on the album, and then if you see the list of songs in a couple of different places, it's spelled Ephedrine. So either it's spelled both ways, or it's a typo. I'm not sure which. Maybe it's one of those words that you can spell either way, but or it's a word that doesn't exist, and that's the name of the song. But I don't think that's that, because I've seen some there's a hair floating around. I've seen some listings of the song, and it's spelled like the drug. So who knows? Anyway, Combine came out under Caroline Records, which was the label that picked them up. One of the labels that picked them up. They are a subsidiary of Virgin, which is the largest indie distributor, and Caroline was the distributor that was the largest indie distributor. Sorry, they used the label as a test market, so they would put bands out there, see how they would do, and then I guess go from there. Caroline gets sold to Thorn EMI, and at that time, Combine and bands like them got dropped, and that was the end of that. So they were actually doing okay record sales wise. They weren't selling, a huge number, but the numbers were going in the right direction. They were starting to get some traction. And when Caroline got sold to Thorn EMI, it was it. It was it was pretty much the end for them, and they never got picked up again. So it's unfortunate, and that's the way it goes, I guess. Let's see. They recently won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Veer Music Awards, which is a local, small, I don't know if local's fair, but it's a small award, and or Veer, and this was in 2019, so it was right before I think they came out with this 25th anniversary. Let's see, yeah, that's about right, because Norfolk, Virginia came out in 1995, so 2020 would be their 25-year anniversary, so that makes sense. So shortly after this, they got a little bit of attention. I think I found a video of them playing at that award ceremony, maybe, or right around there. So it was cool to see something from them, again. These guys met in a small screen printing factory, and it's a trio. There's three guys in this band. Super tight. They have a really unique sound. The drums is what initially attracted me. I like the drumming style, and but their sound in general I found to be really appealing, and the type of music they played is kind of up tempo, and the transitions to that are throughout all of their music. It's part of what why I say they're really tight, because the transition is just sharp, and also sounded really good too. Recording wise, and still does. It holds up really well. I listened to it all recently, and it totally holds up. So originally Combine was the first signing of Felice Ecker's Gurley Action Media and Management company, who also managed Tori Amos, My Morning Jacket, Morrissey, Iron Maiden at one time, Misfits, They Might Be Giants, a whole bunch of other bands. I thought that was super interesting. Combine was this management company's first signee. So that's a little bit of trivia. Let's see what else. Let's listen to part of this song, Ephidrine, which is my favorite song on this album. There's a lot of good ones, so, it's kind of one of those things where it's close. But I think this one's my favorite one. I like the middle part. Well, you'll hear it. I'll play a lot of it because it's only a couple minutes. It's not on Spotify. This is one of the few records that is not on Spotify, so I had to I'm playing it off of Bandcamp, basically. It goes into another section, and then it wraps up from there. It's only a almost 2 minute, 20-second song, so it goes by pretty quick, but it has a couple of main sections. Most of their songs are on the shorter end, but really good stuff. Definitely recommend checking it out, although, a band only has 2 albums. It's kind of a bummer, because if you really like them, then, you're at the end of the catalog pretty quickly. So let's go to the wheel to see what we're going to be talking about next time. Okay, next up is going to be the band Built to Spill, and this is a band that's been around a while and is still going strong. So we will talk about Built to Spill next time. Thanks.